Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome aboard the Richard Bong's P-38J-5 which is an American rank 4 battle rating 4.0 heavy fighter in the premium line, and I really like P-38s. Before I talk about the match here on Wake Island and realistic battles and also kind of this plane in particular, let me just clarify a few things. I really like 50 cals as secondary weapons when there are actually secondary weapons and not what you have to rely on in your entirety. Furthermore, the P-38s have a long history for me. I always liked them, but they never had, all the benefits going for them. Let me explain. First of all, the performance of 50 cals vary from patch to patch and even within the patches, from belt to belt and so on. And, at first they were just in the old 20 tier system, the XP38G, which is again one of the oldest premiums of mine, and there is also the P38G1. Now, nowadays we have many more P38 variants. We have the P38E, P38G1, and the P38 XP38G. Furthermore, we have the P-38J-5, the tech tree version, its premium version from Richard Bong's that I'm currently flying. Also the P-38L5, and there seems also to be a rather rare K variant. But, what about them? Well, they have centralized firepower, that is a plus point. They have two engines, that's a plus point in terms of top speed, acceleration, climb rate, and so on. Furthermore, they have 20mm in the nose. To be precise about the facts, this plane has 4 12.7 M2 Browning 50 cals with 2,000 rounds and one 20mm M2 cannon with 150 rounds. Everything is centralized mounted, and I really like that. There is a little bit of protection for the pilot from the front and the rear, but not from below, above, and the sides. The engines are unprotected, the fuel tanks are between the engines and the fuselage, and yeah, I think that makes this plane overall really great. On Wake Island we have the situation that we have attacks on both sides from AI planes. The Japanese have the G4 M1s going for them, which are highly dangerous bombers, medium bombers, because they have a back 20mm gunner that claimed a lot of American pilots, as well as the patrol boats. And yeah, they also are faster than the Catalinas, the PBJs, PBYs. They are also coming in two waves. If you don't stop those AI bomber formations, they will kill your base or torp the carriers, and they will do it. At first I thought to myself, well, let's just try out. Wake Island is a map that I played recently a lot with the Japanese, but never with the Americans. And so this is kind of my first attempt flying the Americans, and I actually do that, what I despise seeing Americans when I fly the Japanese. I went for the AI, but I had to. I climbed directly into them. And again, they were faster than the PBYs, the Catalinas. So that would give the Japanese a distinct advantage if we just let them through. One thing that you have to keep in mind is that the Japanese played very passively here, except this Kia 100 that just went directly into the American team, which is now low. With this behavior, the actual combat zones where both teams meet each other shifts towards the island. And that actually benefits a little bit the Americans as long as the AAA works. You can escape into the AAA field, you're low anyways, where the AAA is the most effective. So you kind of see the problem for the Japanese. That costs a lot of Japanese players their life. So, after this engagement, I'm trying to land, cool down the engine, refill my ammunition, repair a little bit of battle damage, and then start again. I have to say, I was really surprised how passively this Japanese team is and how good the Americans are in this single battle. And I wanted to practically make this video about target prioritization. Oh, that's a difficult word. Now, a Zero just claimed a kill on a P-51 that seemed to have crashed behind me. And yeah, I'm just here admiring the cockpit view of the P-38s. Again, the P-38s were really nice to fly in arcade after the battle rating system was introduced and they were reworked with a new flight model. And initially in the 20 tier system, they kind of were at rank 14 or even 16. They're ridiculously high for their performance, which was ridiculously bad, and so they were no joy to fly. So at battle rating 4.0 for a rank 4 plane, this is very generous to play. I have to say, because with this thing you can actually theoretically research jets, but then you have no high battle rating performance experience of even the super props. So it's kind of questionable if you only want to have one premium, if this one is the perfect one. But on the other hand, you know, you don't want to punish yourself by buying one of the P-51s. Oh, Napalm, they are so good. Yeah. So, at this point I restarted, I climbed into the other direction to gain a little bit of altitude. I was just climbing to around about 700 meters when I made that turnaround. And that has the reason because all the Japanese players are low. That's a new one. Well, Japanese players have one problem. They fly very good aircraft. Why is that a problem? Well, there is exactly one skilled pilot in this team, and he is right above me in this A6M3. And you can see our entire team just made 3 player kills, but the enemy team has lost 6 players. So they sacrificed a lot of players in the attack on the PBYs, I'm sorry. I called out that the Zero is coming down for the F6F. He thanks it and avoids the attack, like the P63 survives it. He puts on his smoke, and yeah, that's the universal sign for I see you. So I have the altitude advantage and also overall the energy advantage now. While Zeros are very good planes, they tend to lose their entire energy relatively fast. They do not have high-speed energy retention like boom and zoomers tend to have. In this respect, I think the P-38 is a very good aircraft, again, for that battle rating. Do you see the kill message? A destroyer just shot down a Japanese fighter. Must have been a Fubuki, for all of you World of Warships players out there. So, then I also see a Kia 43. I have to admit, at this point, I did not recognize that it is the dangerous version of the Kia 43. Yeah, I know all of them are pretty brutal, but you know, the Mark III version, that's the really nasty one. It climbs, it dives, it turns, it accelerates, it has 220mm guns. It's like really like performing like a biplane. It's ridiculous in its performance. And it's also very fast. It's an absolute nightmare to encounter, especially for P-51. You might think you're faster, but you aren't. So, the Zero is turning around. I avoid the head-on. While I have centralized firepower, it's taking your chances. And I see that he turns below into me. Not a good way to use my energy. So I just zoom up in a power zoom. And yeah, then I see that he falls back and I turn around at around about 350. I initiate the turn, and you can see how beautiful this plane handles, especially with the usage of flaps and also cutting the throttle a little bit. This is not a dedicated turn fighter, but it can make the turn for boom and zooms, and that is the really great part. So, and this is where I really screw up the shot. For a split second I had the perfect solution. I zoomed through, and I look behind me. The A6M5, A6M3 actually just made so much avoiding by pulling a negative G on his elevator to avoid my shots to reinitiate the attack on the F6, F5, and that got him the kill on my allied team. The P-47 makes an attack run, gets followed by the Kiev-43. The A6M3 tries to go through. Not even a hit on him, so he makes a very nice roll, but not as sharp as I expected from an absolute ace pilot. So, and then he sprays me with the machine guns. I saw that from the color of the tracers. I turn around. Again, use of throttle and flaps let me just flip over really nicely. There is the Kiev-43. For a moment I thought I have him, but then he begins to turn, and I actually waste a little bit of unnecessary amount of ammunition, a few 50 cal hits, not enough to put him down, but I guess I damaged his engine further. And then there is this A6M2, also a very dangerous plane, especially if it is the Mod 11. This P-51 goes into a head-on attack, damages his engine. I did not think that he saw me coming, and he makes the turn, rightfully so, that I can follow him through. And that is the nice part about the P-38. While you are not a turn fighter, you can turn just enough to put shots into an evading target. At least if you use it in the vertical. And that's just what I did. So I'm turning around to reinitiate an attack on the Japanese planes, and let's see how it is going. I'm just checking the leaderboards a little bit. The Kiev-43 avoids the head-on of the P-51. He's still smoking, and the Zero tries to zoom climb me for a little bit, or for a moment. Then he goes down, getting re-engaged by the P-51. Then I switch the target to the Kiev-43, and I put him down. Wing is sawed off. And still, while being dead, he puts a 20 millimeter shot into my right engine housing, but thankfully without any real damage. Oh, it's a little bit exhausting, a lot of grinding today, I'm sorry about this. So, the A6M3 is now in a total dogfight against numerous American aircraft. However, at this point, he makes the mistake of being much too slow and much too predictable. And that actually allows me to gain my third kill with a controlled burst. So, and that just leaves one enemy player left. I zoom through for the carrier fleet and just, checking out where he might be. If he is running or if he tries to engage us. I try to use all the energy possible for climbing to altitude again, and now he gets spotted. He is in an A6M5 ready to land on the carrier. Now I know that he is landing, and the things I do for a reason. I do not attack for two of those reasons. The first one being he is on the carrier fleet where there is all the AAA. So if I would attack him, I'm getting shot down very likely, and I'm alone. Now I look back and I see that there is actually an ally coming with me. Furthermore, he just landed and his repair is likely to start now, unless he crashed, but we didn't receive a crash message. Now I thinking about going near, because I think that the P-63 attracts the AAA fire of the carrier, which indeed it does. So, and then I thought, I never could reach him anyways before his repair is complete, and he would just jay out and get into the match again. But he's honorable, he actually starts again. Another option of him would just have been to leave the match, but he chose to fight. I put a few 50 cal rounds into him and watched this plane just perform. Oh, I just really, really like this plane. The P-38J-5, or is it an A-10? I don't know. Puts him on fire. I had the possibility of getting the kill, but he earned this kill, so I did not follow him through and steal this kill from him. I need to research the 826B anyways, so I thought to myself, yeah, I will not do it in one battle anyways, so it really doesn't matter. I had a really great battle, you know, no real use for getting greedy. So, I mean, yeah, more kills would be better for the result, but, you know, this guy was actually a good player. He deserved at least one kill. So, and that's the match. Let's have a quick look at the post-battle results in a moment. Now, this again was not about making all the kills and so on, it was more about making decisions, and it pays off. 7 planes, of which 3 were players, giving me 126,000 silver lines and 16,412 research points, putting me first on team with 5,117 score points. So that was the P-38J-5, the American premium plane. I really like it, and you know, this is certainly not a bad plane. If it is worth purchasing, well, it has a 20mm cannon, so that makes it really great, and I think it's not that expensive if I'm not mistaken. But I think the best premium still is the Spitfire LF Mark 9C. As long as we don't see a serious rework of Spitfire flight models, that is the best plane to buy despite its price. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other in the skies of War Thunder.